You know,
Hey,
I don't
Zach,
know. Yeah, what's up?
you ready for a bash in Berlin?
Oh yeah, with me having a bunch of German heritage in my blood, this pay-per-view actually made me very happy in hindsight. Bash in Berlin, the first ever WWE pay-per-view from the country of Germany. They went to the capital of Berlin. I did not know that the tower in Berlin is taller than the Eiffel Tower. I learned that today. But this is another staple, it seems, in the Triple H era. These international pay-per-views going overseas, us on the Pacific Coast waking up bright and early, watching it at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's something I'm getting used to, and I'm getting
Yep.
used to the rowdiness of the crowds as well.
I got my ass up like at 7:30 this morning so I could
Jesus
wake up and
Christ.
be somewhat awake, watch the last hour of the pre-show. And yeah, this is something we're kind of getting used to here. Just when you think WWE is going to slow down or these crowds are going to slow down, they absolutely do not. I
No.
will say my favorite crowd so far has been France, but
Yeah.
Scotland and here with Germany, the crowd is very rowdy. I still think us here in the States need to take a couple of pointers because we are very spoiled when it comes to professional wrestling here in the States.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody overseas is really appreciating these shows. So we need to step it up or we might lose a WrestleMania overseas. Just saying that now. But ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen, welcome to the ZNT Wrestling Show. Of course, we are your hosts. I am Tomas. This is Zach. I want to say
Yeah.
first and foremost, thank you for being so patient with us when it comes to these podcasts. My personal life has kind of been in disarray recently, but things are finally going to start slowing down. And I'm looking forward to doing so many more reviews here. For all those who are about to ask, yes, we are going to review AEW All In.
Yes.
We have a lot to say about that show. Just
to his
kind of
point.
out of order here.
Mm-hmm.
It will come out. It will be out next week. We promise. Trust me. Both me and Zach have OCD. We do not like doing these reviews out of order. But as life is, and again, I apologize. Thank you to everyone for being patient with me. These reviews are going to start rolling out a lot more frequently, and we're very forward to talk about this show today.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm looking forward to talking all things wrestling as always. This is show number 170, believe it or not. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. Hit that thumbs up as well. And again, to anybody who is wondering where the All In review is, especially the AEW cocksuckers that are bound to be in the comments, yeah, that review is coming. I really liked that show, and we will talk about it when the time comes. But since Bash in Berlin is fresh in our minds, let's go ahead and talk about it from the Uber Arena in Berlin, Germany. I wonder how much an Uber costs to leave this pay-per-view. Like, do they get like extra because they sponsor the arena?
Well, here's the thing, Zach. The reason why I brought this point up to you during the show is I went to a Coldplay concert when I was living in the Bay Area around your neck of the woods. And
Yeah.
I went to Levi Stadium. It cost over $100 for an Uber to take us
That's ridiculous.
15 minutes. 15 minutes. And that's
Ridiculous.
because Uber are a bunch of scumbags and they know that there's events going on and they purposely jack up the prices. It's not an XL, it's your regular Uber. So when I saw that, I just thought, so you have two choices, either grin and bear the terrible parking situation or pay an arm and a leg to get a 15 to 20 minute ride.
Exactly.
Anywho, but we digress. We're not here to talk about Ubers. We're here to talk about Bash in Berlin. This is a Triple H specialty. Short, sweet, 5-match card. We have talked about this almost every single review, but it is a constant battle between WWE and AEW when it comes to these pay-per-view formats. When we get to our All-In review, AEW, I feel like, is starting to listen, and they are starting to round out these pay-per-views a little more. I agree. I still think even with that $50 price tag, and hopefully with the streaming service coming soon, they could still just trim the fat, prune it a little. If, I saw Deadpool and Wolverine last night, so the word prune is in my mind. Prune it down a little, make it nice and condensed. I'm going to have my feelings for that. But WWE seems to have a formula here. The formula is very much working. It's a perfect match format where you still get a lot of action. You're still getting your subscriptions worth, but the crowd does not get tired. And I think that is one thing Triple H wants to prevent when it comes to these shows. He doesn't want the fans to get burnt out. He wants them to be loud and rowdy the entire time. And I think this crowd really came through. And all of, your usual bells and whistles, everything is here. The unique chants, everyone is rowdy, stuff that we don't understand.
The soccer songs.
The soccer songs. The staple that we'll be talking about in this opening matchup is the Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, that is a stalker chant. They do sing that to certain players' names. Need to hit up my boy Hugo to get a little more educated when it comes to that, because he's a big soccer guy.
There you go.
But that is a perfect segue into our opening contest. We have Cody Rhodes defending the WWE Championship against his good buddy, the prize fighter, Kevin Owens. How did we get here?
Sir.
So after Cody Rhodes survived the bloodline once again against Solo Sikoa at SummerSlam, he was tasked with picking his opponent for Bash in Berlin. He chose his friend Kevin Owens because Kevin Owens has really been on the front line. He's been like his right-hand man when it comes to this bloodline stuff. Kevin Owens cannot get away from the bloodline, and he has been, again, at Cody's side, fighting the bloodline whenever he can. And Cody basically wants to reward him for having his back and give him a WWE Championship match. Owens, the humble Owens, does not want to take this title shot because, according to him, his win-loss record has been very lackluster this year, and he feels like he doesn't deserve a title shot. So he walked away from the title shot. Cody went to talk to general manager Nick Aldis, and Nick Aldis was just going to give Roman Reigns a title shot at Bash in Berlin. But Kevin Owens stepped in and said, that's not fair. Roman Reigns has been gone for the past 6 months. And even when he was here, he was barely defending the title. So why should he get a title shot? It was a little reverse psychology. Aldis was like, okay, well, if Reigns doesn't get the shot, you're going to get the shot now. And these past couple episodes of SmackDown, it's been very formulaic, a little cliche. It's the, can you trust the babyface? Can the babyfaces trust each other? Can they coexist? A-Town Down Under has been really trying to get under Kevin Owens' skin and kind of like push this agenda with Cody Rhodes saying, hey, Kevin Owens is the guy who turned on his best friend Sami Zayn, turned on his best friend Chris Jericho, turned on Kofi Kingston. Can you really trust Kevin Owens? And Cody Rhodes basically says, I know Kevin Owens is the way he is, and Owens admitted that, but all Cody can do is trust Kevin Owens at face value.
Yeah.
So it's a formulaic storyline, but it still like has you on the edge of your toes. Just like, is Owens going to turn? Is Owens going to stay to his word? It was something to really pay attention to in this match.
Yes, and I don't want to jump the gun here either, but this is exactly right. This is a feud that I feel like is right down Triple H's wheelhouse, because with how Kevin Owens is being presented, if you're a longtime fan especially, you're going to get rewarded for remembering certain things. Because Kevin Owens is talking about, oh, I don't deserve this shot. I don't like being handed things, like he's very... And this down-to-earth Kevin Owens, his babyface, he's really good at it. He's also really good at being a prize fighter heel. Kevin Owens is just a great all-around talent. And there was a point where they do a sit-down interview with Corey Graves, both him and Cody, and they're talking about their history. And I honestly was not fully aware to the extent of how close Cody and Kevin actually are in real life. They've taken Disney vacations together, them and their families. There's pictures of them like literally like in front of the Millennium Falcon. And you see little Liberty in Cody's arms looking back at Kevin like, can you trust him? It's the funniest thing. And then Kevin also mentions that, do you remember how the Reign of Terror started with Triple H being handed the big gold belt? Kevin Owens was like, I hated that, and I don't want to be handed anything. And I'm like, that's right. We talked about that. We didn't like that either.
And how ironic was it that Kevin Owens also brought up that 8 years to the day, basically, Kevin Owens won the Universal title with the help of Triple H. How weird things come full circle here. Cody and Owens are very over with the crowd. Owens comes into this match very focused. He's at the task at hand. And on the go-home episode of SmackDown, after Cody said, I'm just going to have to trust you at face value, and Owens says, I'm going to beat you for the WWE title. And Cody said, no, I'm going to beat you for the WWE title. Owens goes up to Cody and whispers in his ear, remember, you asked for this. So Owens is
what is it? What is it with these like intimate secrets between wrestlers and Cody Rhodes? We still don't know what the fuck The Rock handed him on that night after Mania Raw. We still don't know what happened.
I think it was a locket with Tony Khan's photo in it that says, I miss you. I miss you, Poopy.
It's a USB drive with all of Cody's family photos on it. The Rock's been stalking him his whole life.
Yeah, but so basically, also in the build-up, Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes have kind of had this pseudo feud going on with A-Town Down Under. When Owens was wrestling Grayson Waller, we noticed a bit of his prize fighter gimmick come back because he hits Waller with the KO stunner. But then he wins the match with the pop-up powerbomb, which is his original finisher. And then after the match, he almost apron bombs Waller. And if you know your Kevin Owens history, Owens has ended people's careers with the apron bomb. He took out Sami Zayn. He took out John Cena. Hell, he ended Ezekiel's career. We haven't seen that fool since. I hope he's okay. There is some dude on the indies named Elijah that's like looks like him, but he has a beard and he plays the guitar. That's not him.
I think Elias, Ezekiel, and Elijah are triplets. I'm convinced. Yeah, like Elias was one of 3 triplets, and he just happened to be followed into the business by his 2 younger brothers, who are all separated by minutes. So I think that's the case.
We haven't seen Ezekiel since, but
no,
since
poor
we
Ezekiel.
Reintroduced the pop-up powerbomb and the apron bomb, it's been making people wonder, babyface Kevin Owens doesn't do the apron bomb.
No.
Is there an apron bomb in Cody Rhodes' future? We shall see. Like I said, this is a very cliche storyline when it comes to babyface matches, but it's still very interesting because I don't want to say Kevin Owens has been waffling the past couple of years, but it does seem like he's at the peak of he needs a little tweak in his character. So I do like it rewards you for being a fan over all the years. But back to the match at hand. This was a very good match. I like how it started off.
Fantastic.
These two are very competitive with each other. They're not holding back on either of each other. It's a very competitive match. These guys got 23 minutes. And I feel like even in the beginning of the match, they were trying to go for their finishers right away. Owens goes for a KO stunner. Cody counters into sort of a crossroads, but Owens gets out of it. These two are evenly matched, and these guys really brought out the best of the best when it comes to their arsenals.
Totally. And again, the fact that they are legit really good friends in real life, because let's not forget, it was actually Kevin Owens who introduced Cody to the Young Bucks way back when Cody left the WWE. So that little connection right there, Kevin basically going up to Matthew and Nicholas and being like, look, this Cody kid, he's all right. Take care of him. And to the Bucks' credit, I know I've said a lot of bad shit about them lately. I don't like how petty they're being, but they took good care of Cody. And, you know, Cody took good care of them in return. And Kevin took good care of him. And he continued to take good care of him in this match. They had really good chemistry. Cody also applied the figure 4 leg lock at one point, which the crowd chanted, woo, because you have to chant woo anytime someone locks in the figure 4.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
that's a good point too. Michael Cole brought up on commentary before the match, but apparently Cody is going into this match a little banged up. They went on an overseas European tour the past couple weeks, and they said they spotted Cody limping backstage. Cody refused to give a status. He said that he was okay. Michael Cole even went as far as interviewing a lot of the wrestlers, and they all said they didn't know anything. And Cole said it's either the wrestlers don't know or they don't want to say anything. My theory is Cody is stubborn, and anybody who's asking about it, he's saying, no, I'm fine. So the knee is a big issue in this match, and it's going to play a huge factor near the end of the match. It's going to play compass.
You know what this knee thing made me think of? Because first of all, Cody showed no signs of actually being injured here. Yeah, he may be like working through a bit of a knee issue here and there, but it reminded me of last year when Seth Rollins was feuding with Shinsuke Nakamura for the world title, and Nakamura was asking him, how's your back? And that played into that rivalry there. And basically with Cody's knee here, they're basically adding an extra little story element into the match itself. Cody goes...
But it didn't really hinder the match in the way Randy Orton's knee injury played a factor into his WrestleMania match with CM Punk back in 2011. These guys still, they still wrestled a fine match, and I like how they were very aware of each other's movesets. I think a couple of times Cody Rhodes went for a beautiful disaster, and Owens was able to counter it. He countered the Cody cutter a couple of times. There's this great sequence where Cody hits the disaster kick on the outside and then goes for a suicide dive. When he hits the suicide dive, he also stands on the barricade and jaw jacks with the crowd. I'm just like, Cody, you're wrestling Kevin Owens right now.
It's like,
why don't you focus on the task at hand?
It's him shedding more of that Stardust stigmatism, because remember when Stardust would make his entrance and he would stand on the barricade every time?
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it too. So Cody eventually does hit the Cody cutter, which is a move he never wins with. He's never pinned anybody with the Cody cutter. It just seems like a setup move. But Cody then goes for another top rope Cody cutter, and you see the knee buckle there. So sort of like I'm putting big air quotes around the word buckle, because Cody then starts selling the knee. Kevin Owens is then like, oh, come on. Like, he's torn. He wants to attack him, but he can't. He can't do it because he's too close of friends with Cody here.
Wade Barrett, by the way, is screaming at Owens on commentary. Also, quick programming note, Pat McAfee is off to College Game Day. It is college season, so we will not be seeing Pat McAfee anymore. Wade Barrett stepped in for pay-per-view here, and that was fantastic. Me and Zach have been going on and on about Wade Barrett should be on pay-per-view more often, so it was really cool to see Barrett and Cole on the call.
He was fantastic tonight, too, especially in this match, because he is hounding at Kevin Owens. Kevin eventually kicks Cody in the knee on the outside, and Kevin's like, he's feeling very sorry for himself. Then he starts to go for the apron powerbomb, and he's looking at the apron, he has Cody in position, and Wade's like, do it! It's for the title! Do it!
There's also at one point, I think, after this, because Owens he can't bring himself to do it. He wants to beat Cody, but he doesn't want to break his neck or end his career. So he throws Cody back in the ring. He looks at Barrett and says, shut up, you idiot, and gets back in the ring. So you see a little more of that heel Owens coming out, but also maybe a shout out to his buddy Chris Jericho, because we all know Jericho's favorite insult is, you idiot.
He's from Winnipeg, you idiot. So they go in and they go back to some really good drama at the end of this. Kevin hits 2 stunners, both of which Cody kicks out of. Kevin had kicked out of a crossroads as well. And then Kevin goes for a swanton. Cody gets his knees up, and then he hits one more crossroads, and then pinfall. He retains the title. This, I mean, Tomas mentioned it to me while we were watching this. The match kind of felt like it just ended. Like Cody hit his finishing maneuver, and it was pretty straightforward, and he won.
Because, there's also a point in the match where Cody hits a double crossroads, and then he goes for the third, and then Kevin Owens counters it into that
into the stunner
over the knee. Yeah, into the stunner. So it's like, how come Owens can shake off 2 crossroads very easily, but then this one singular crossroads, that's enough for Owens? So it just felt like I would have liked to see some more near falls. I know it's this thing in wrestling where everybody kicks out of their finishers now. I can't think of one finisher that's really protected. But, maybe, I feel like there were some moves we never really saw. Of course, we saw that beautiful cradle superplex from Kevin Owens.
Oh, it was awesome.
So many moves in Kevin Owens' arsenal that I just feel like could have made this match go on a little longer. And I know that's asking for a lot considering they got 23 minutes. It's like they were focusing more on the storytelling element of, is Owens going to do the apron bomb, which is very similar to the Will Ospreay storyline, by the way, they were doing with the
It is. And I was hoping we would talk about this. A lot of people, get on AEW for copycatting what WWE is doing, especially when it comes to a certain someone who's holding the TBS championship. But the thing is, this story with Kevin Owens not hitting the apron powerbomb, Tomas is absolutely right, by the way. We've been going over a whole 6-month journey since Will Ospreay was signed to AEW, and he nearly ended Bryan Danielson's career at Dynasty with the Tiger Driver. And since April, Will Ospreay has been so hesitant to hit that move again because of PTSD. He doesn't want to hurt anybody, which is weird. In the kayfabe world of wrestling, your goal should be not just to win the match, but depending on the circumstance, it should be to hurt your opponent. So
it's like they did modified, super condensed version of that storyline here, because like I said before, I thought it was a little sus that Owens was going for the apron bomb on Grayson Waller. I know Waller is a heel, but at the same time, Owens doesn't do the apron bomb as a babyface. And the only reason why he didn't connect is because Austin Theory saved Waller at the last second. So again, I'm going to let this story breathe. This was just the beginning. Yeah. Obviously, it has more time to develop. It just felt like it hit a climax a little too soon here. And, again, the match just felt, the ending was just a little anticlimactic. I still really like the match, though. I'm going to go 3.5 stars here. It was a very solid opener, and I hope it's just the beginning for this storyline, because I feel like I love Cody Rhodes as the WWE champion, and I will defend him until the day that I die. But I will agree that I feel like there's no long-term plans for him until WrestleMania. It's kind of like they're just going on the fly here, like month by month, they're coming up with new opponents for him. I think this Kevin Owens storyline can really stretch out. I don't want to say to the end of the year, but they could go a couple more pay-per-views with this just so they can let the story develop. And I like how I'm very uncertain how this is going to end. Is Owens going to turn heel? Is Owens going to swerve everyone, stay at babyface? But we could see a couple of more really good quality matches. You could put these guys in a cage. You guys could do a street fight here. There's so much more in the realm of this story that I want to see. I don't want to see it just end here. Hell, Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles had an I Quit match. And I think there's still more in the realm for this Owens-Cody feud. So yeah, I thought it was great. Cody and Owens shook hands and hugged after the match. who knows where this is going to go? But let's talk about this now because it's kind of the elephant in the room. The past couple weeks on SmackDown, Solo Sikoa has been saying, I get the winner of Cody and Owens. And I'm just sitting here thinking, why should you get a title shot, Sikoa? You lost. I defended it before. I really did. But there is absolutely no justification for Solo Sikoa to get another title shot after this. The only way
I agree
is not if they do it at Bad Blood, if they do it on an episode of SmackDown and Roman Reigns just fucking costs Sikoa the title again. Just absolutely annihilates him.
I'm down with that.
Or even don't even like set up the match, and when Sikoa's on his way to the ring, Roman Reigns just blasts him with a Superman punch.
Yeah.
And, I think it's appropriate now to talk about the development in this storyline because the Bloodline is not featured on this pay-per-view, surprisingly enough. But ever since Roman Reigns made his return, they are really stretching this thing out because when Roman Reigns came back on SmackDown, I just kind of sat back and thought, there is no reason why Roman Reigns shouldn't just go in there and clean fucking house and take back the Ulafala. They are coming up with excuses to keep this shit away from Reigns.
Which he did. He did take back the Ulafala. He put it on the same night that his uncle Afa passed away as well. And then the Bloodline just brutalize him. They give him the triple shield bomb through the announce table. And we haven't seen Roman since. And we haven't heard Roman say one word about why he helped Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam yet either.
But here's the thing. It's not Tongaloa, it's not Tama Tonga, it's not Solo Sikoa that are keeping Roman Reigns down. It's Jacob Fatu. So
damn right it is.
Fatu out of the equation. And I'm sorry, Roman Reigns is making his own family look like a bunch of chumps. Because I do not believe for 1 second that Gorillas of Destiny and Solo Sikoa, even 3-on-1, can take out Roman Reigns. So this is this is a storyline you have to be patient with. I want to like this storyline, so I'm going to give opportunity to let it breathe more. But right now, it looks like they're just looking for excuses to extend it further.
It's almost like WWE is setting up Jacob Fatu as the bigger threat as opposed to Solo, which is what I've been saying from the very beginning, and that's why they waited so long to bring Jacob Fatu into the mix, because they wanted to make Solo look like a big threat. But you can't have Solo be a big threat for the title if he keeps losing.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But getting back to Cody and Kevin Owens, I thought this match was excellent. 4 stars from me. I thought it was super competitive for a babyface match. Do I think Kevin Owens is going to turn heel eventually? Yeah, I think so, because he has spent the last 7 years, going on 8 now, and he hasn't held one singles championship since he had the U.S. title in 2017. That is
crime.
A sin. That is an absolute sin. So Kevin Owens, I think, should go back. I think it's time for a little bit of a shift back into his old prize fighter desperate ways. Because that Kevin Owens is a lot of fun, too. This Kevin Owens we have right now, really cool. I like how humble he is, and I like how it kind of, reflects his real-life character. But I kind of want a shake-up a little bit. I kind of want a bit of a shake-up.
This just really lends to the versatility of Kevin Owens. He's not a one-trick pony. The past 10 years he's been in WWE, he has proved he can do it all. He can be a fantastic heel that you love to hate, but he can be the most endearing babyface ever that you just can't help but get behind.
It just shows you why I think he's one of the best in the biz right now.
Yeah.
And honestly, this whole storyline, say what you want about it feeling like a copy of the Tiger Driver story in AEW. I feel like in regards to this, the actual payoff, I think, may be a bit more satisfying because this is actually being used as a story mechanism to turn Kevin Owens heel again. Because, Will Ospreay hitting that Tiger Driver at All In was awesome, but it almost felt like it was meant to pop the crowd as a payoff,
Yeah.
He was getting over a phobia. Not saying that there wasn't a story in what Ospreay was doing. He was getting over a fear. But this is meant to really drastically shift a character in a certain way. So.
And if you know your Kevin Owens lore, the apron bomb has been a dastardly thing Owens has been doing since night 1. He apron bombed Sami Zayn night 1 in NXT.
Yes, he did.
So whenever he busts out that move, he's legitimately trying to hurt somebody.
I'll never forget that night and how awesome I thought that ending to our Evolution was. But yeah,
he never got that Kevin Owens Samoa Joe match though.
No, we didn't.
Damn, I miss Black and Gold.
Man, I miss Samoa Joe. I miss Samoa Joe in WWE. But anyway.
I do too. I do too. Hey, remember when Juice Robinson fucking stiffed Kevin Owens on night one? Like headbutted him and, like right on the nose and like busted right here and made him bleed.
Good times. Good times, NXT.
Welcome
Black
to WWE
and Gold.
Owens. Here's a fucking headbutt for your troubles.
Oh man. So anyway, yeah, really, really solid opening contest, and the crowd was hyped throughout every single part of it. But the championship matches keep on coming here, Tomas. For the Women's Tag Team Championships, the Unholy Union, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, are defending against Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. First of all, I gotta give mad props to both teams here for actually color coordinating their attires. Bianca and Jade were all decked out in She-Hulk green, and Alba Fire and Isla Dawn were dressed up in like Cruella de Vil Dalmatian colors, which I thought was really cool. This was pretty standard fare, I thought. Yeah, go ahead.
Shout out to Fire and Dawn. We don't have a lot of legitimate tag teams, like women's tag teams, especially in WWE. And Dawn and Fire are one of, if not the best. I know they're developing some, like, stupid name aside, I like Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. I love me some Kabuki Warriors, and I especially love the damage control variant of Io Sky and Kairi Sane because they were a tag team in Japan. I love Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. But Dawn and Fire just have that tag team chemistry because, again, I'm a tag team mark. I love tag team wrestling. I love legitimate tag teams. I don't understand why Shawn Michaels hates tag teams in NXT because he has split up some legitimate tag teams. And I hate that. Sorry to get off on a tangent.
Looking at you, MSK. Looking at you, MSK. Looking at you, MSK.
Who breaks up the Rascals?
I don't know. Maybe setting up Wes Lee as a heel challenger for the world title eventually, which I would not mind. I don't mind the idea of Wes Lee being a heel. So
stay tuned for our NXT No Mercy review, maybe, and we'll delve more into Wes Lee and Zachary Wentz feud. But with that being said, I think Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair have formed an awesome team over the past few months. They have excellent chemistry together. What I'm not a fan of is, since Belair and Cargill dropped the titles at Clash of the Castle 2, Dawn and Fire, it sure feels like they've been doing a whole lot of nothing, hasn't it? Just
not a thing.
Waiting in the wings because, Triple H was very conflicted. Like he has, Fire and Dawn are from Scotland, and, Fire tragically lost her mother, like right before the pay-per-view. So he wanted to give them a feel-good moment. But at the same time, I like Fire and Dawn, and I wanted to see how far they would go because before winning the tag team titles, they were sure doing a hell of a lot of nothing on Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
But I could really just see the writing on the wall, and Triple H was just like, okay, you had your fun. We need to give these titles back under Cargill and Belair because clearly they are trying to drag out this Cargill and Belair thing until the end of the year, till Royal Rumble WrestleMania time, where we're going to get the eventual one-on-one match. But I think it's a smart idea to keep this team together because the more experience Cargill gets working with so many different women, the better she's going to get. I'm not saying she needs to be like, oh, cover her up. She's female Goldberg. She can't get too exposed because I see the improvement.
Well,
I see the hard work there.
I do too.
I think this was very smart as opposed to Triple H just going, push her to the moon, put the WWE Women's title on her right away, and then she's overexposed, and then we all hate her. And I don't want to hate Jade Cargill. I love Jade Cargill. So this is a smart idea right here, but it's just it's saddening because I like Dawn and Fire and I want to see them get used more. But I understand that Cargill is still kind of the shiny new toy. She's the shiny new toy that Triple H is still kept in the package, and he's waiting to open it at the perfect time.
So do you think that if the Clash of the Castle pay-per-view was not in Scotland and it wasn't in Alba Fire and Isla Dawn's neck of the woods, do you think they would even be winning the titles at all?
No.
Like, because I feel like Cargill and Belair would have been holding on to those belts, like, as long as they possibly could since they won them at Backlash. And then, like, I haven't heard a damn peep from them all summer since they lost those belts. Like, I mean, maybe they were doing stuff on television, but again, Cargill is a star on the rise. WWE clearly has high hopes for her. If they didn't, they wouldn't have signed her off from the competition. And Bianca Belair is WWE's female John Cena. Like, how could you not be using Bianca right now? That's crazy.
It's just like, the only thing I can remember them doing is that they both failed to qualify for Money in the Bank. So it's just like, and I know there's a whole other SmackDown's women's division. There's a whole lot of nothing going on there right now. I know Nia Jax just won the title, but there was no Nia Jax defense here. It seems like it's a lot of slow burn going on right now.
She defended
with Michin.
Yeah, she defended against Michin in a street fight last night on SmackDown, and there was a fun Tiffany Stratton cash-in attempt, and Bayley came back, and she's evening the odds for Michin. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the SmackDown Women's Division is really centered around when is Tiffany going to turn face and cash in on Nia. Like, also, that's what we're waiting on.
Tangent, but last week on SmackDown, the WWE Women's title, the WWE Tag Team titles, and the United States Championship were all defended on one show. You couldn't have taken one of those matches, preferably LA Knight and Santos Escobar, and put it on this show.
Or how about LA Knight versus Ludwig Kaiser, which was on SmackDown last night? Ludwig Kaiser is from Germany. No, you don't think so?
No.
Fair enough.
No. Ludwig Kaiser is a Raw guy. And I will get to that in a minute. Anywho, back to this matchup.
It was an open challenge. It could have been anybody.
I don't care. Should have been SmackDown guy. Anywho, this match took a minute to get out of the gate, but when it got out of the gate, all the four ladies worked very well together. I especially love the tag team offense of Fire and Dawn. There was this really cool spot where Dawn, I think I'm thinking of the right match. Yes, Dawn did a backstabber to Belair, and then Fire went for a swanton bomb, but then at the very last second, Cargill was able to cause a distraction so Belair can move out of the way, and Fire landed right on Dawn's knees. So that was a really cool spot.
Yeah, no, and the double team maneuvers in this thing, like we were talking about it. Jade Cargill, first of all, congratulations for not fucking up the hot tag this time. So at least you got that.
They're at least her little by little more.
Yeah,
she's improving. I see the improvement.
I do too. I don't know who else she's working with other than Bianca and all these other girls that she's sharing the ring with, but I think
she's working with CM Punk.
Oh, well, I mean, that would explain a lot too. But
I mean, when you're getting she was trained in AEW by Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
She's getting mentored in WWE by CM Punk.
Like, she
can't help you.
She's being set up for all the success in the world. Like, the next thing she needs is AJ Styles to help her. And then she's really going to be phenomenal.
I see the improvement. So Cargill is taking all the advice.
Me too.
Like when Brian Kendrick was trying to train Eva Marie. Because I remember when I saw that video, I'm like, if Brian Kendrick can't help you, you're a lost cause. So at least Cargill is not like that.
Yeah, at least Cargill is actually like a sponge and retaining a lot of the learning that she's getting here. But the finish comes around. Bianca hits like some sort of like code breaker maneuver on Alba Fire, and Jade Cargill pins Alba Fire. I might be switching them up a bit, but she wins with a German suplex, which in this country is just a suplex.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
I love this finisher. Again, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill have some excellent chemistry together. They are not sloppy when executing these double team moves, which, again, I see the improvement. And if Cargill can execute double team moves, she can only go up from here. I know it was a very rocky beginning, and having her in a tag team is doing wonders for her.
Yeah.
But I do think when they finally let go of that leash, kind of like with Ray and Dom, when Ray finally let Dom be on his own and he flourished, I think when they finally pushed the baby bird out of the nest, and I mean that term very loosely because it's Jade Cargill and she's like 7 foot tall. I think Cargill's gonna be
I mean, she is female Goldberg, right?
She should have been She-Hulk.
She should have been She-Hulk. I agree. She could be Storm in the MCU. Yeah. Who knows?
Get Ryan Reynolds on the phone.
Who knows? Yeah, get Ryan Reynolds on the phone. Get him to watch one of these shows. Get Hugh Jackman to one of these shows again. Hugh Jackman was a guest host of Raw, wasn't he?
Remember when Hugh Jackman punched the fuck out of Nick Nemeth?
I do remember that. Yeah, that was fucking satisfying. And he was one of the biggest broskies in the arena, too, with Matt Cardona. That was a lot of fun times. Fun times, PG 2011.
I'm going to give this match 2 3/4 stars. I think
it got
the job done pretty well. And it got good, like, the second half of the match. Like, that last, from the hot tag all the way to the end, it was a fun little sprint with some fun tag team elements in there. But that first half of the match, I don't want to say it was flogging, but it wasn't exciting at the second half.
even as the weakest match on the show, it's still a pretty solid enough match. You know, it's not like it's a terrible match or anything. Again, not as botchy as the Clash at the Castle match was, but it was
Spoiler
good.
alert,
it was good.
There is not a bad match on this show.
Right.
It is not a bad match.
Well, you want to get into what I think may be your match of the night?
Ooh, you know, what did I tell you? If the main event didn't top this match, this would have been my match of the night. Well, I'm glad to have been proven wrong. In a strap match, the best in the world, CM Punk, takes on the Scottish psychopath Drew McIntyre in a true grudge match after SummerSlam. Also, it's a fair note to bring up because he was a special guest referee. Seth Rollins was brutally attacked by
Oh my God, dude. Yes. Yes. Let's talk about him. Yep.
Times in a row. Kayfabe wise, Seth Rollins' ribs were broken. He suffered internal injuries, and we don't know when he's going to be back. In reality, he needs to take a little more time off to recover from some nagging injuries. We hope Seth Rollins is doing well. Take your time, bud. Come back when you are ready. But since Seth Rollins is out of the picture, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre are still at each other's throats. CM Punk, he lied about not coming to Monday Night Raw so he could ambush Drew McIntyre when Drew McIntyre was trying to politic his way into the World Heavyweight Championship match. And when he attacked Drew McIntyre, CM Punk was whipping him with a strap. So his idea was to go to Adam Pearce and ask for a strap match at Bash in Berlin. Drew McIntyre accepts, and CM Punk kind of gives Drew McIntyre a proposal. I will trade you the strap for the bracelet. Because McIntyre is still rocking the bracelet.
No. He explicitly said, "You took my bracelet, Drew? Well, I made you a bracelet of my own." And he has the strap around his neck, and I'm looking at Punk, and I'm like, "You're full of it, homie. Like, there's no way you made that strap. there's no fucking way. Like, that was sitting in WWE's prop closet. There's no way you made that strap on your own."
Also, how big do you think Drew McIntyre's arm is? That is a 13-foot strap.
Well, I mean, like, it's not a bracelet either. Like, yeah, they're connected by bracelets that are on each end of the strap, but the strap itself is not a bracelet. So
now, I know what you guys are thinking. For a feud that's been going on for almost a year, and for how much heat they were going into SummerSlam, this setup seems a little lackluster.
A little bit.
You're right. The build for this match in particular wasn't that great. I think the beginning part of it was good, but the promos after that were just like, "I'm going to whip the heck out of you at the pay-per-view. No, I'm going to whip you at the pay-per-view." And CM Punk saying, "It's not you that's strapped to me, it's me that's strapped to you." So it's pretty standard stuff. I think CM Punk has settled back into the WWE system. Like, I think
totally.
I don't want to say what's the term I'm looking for? Like the new of him is gone. I'm just saying, I think he's comfortably back into the system of WWE.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. Like, I think, like, the fact that he's settled into this role in WWE, I think that's the proper term for it. There might be a fancier word, but I don't know.
It'll pop up to me, like, in the middle of this review. I guarantee that.
Fair enough.
But this, honestly, if the build does not reflect this match, because I thought this match was excellent. When it
was really good.
Strap matches. And this is the strap match where the way you win the match is you have to touch all four corners in succession. And in order to win the match. And I'm glad it had the air when it came to this, because they said if your momentum is interrupted, your light goes off. But I've seen momentum get interrupted when all three corners have been touched by all three guys, but they still let the other guy win the match. I think they mean whoever gets their specific momentum interrupted. So let's say, for example, McIntyre touches two corners and then CM Punk hits him with a clothesline, McIntyre's lights go off.
Yeah.
I think that made a lot more sense, because I remember specifically JTG and Shad had a strap match at Extreme Rules, and both men hit all three corners at the same time. And then JTG hit his finisher, and then he touched the corner and he won. But I'm like, but the momentum was interrupted. Shouldn't it restart? No, they made it a little more specific this time, and I'm glad that they did.
Yeah.
So, even wonky rules aside, these guys got very creative. They got very physical. It was very stiff. This truly felt like a grudge match.
Punk was, I'll give the man credit, he was cut open the hard way. And there's people still out there who are doubting this man's abilities. And to anybody who thinks that CM Punk is washed, I got this to say to you.
You can suck my fucking dick!
Oh, Zach, let me tell you.
That's what I got.
I'm still not finished with my big, delicious bowl of crow that I started eating in,
me neither.
I want to say, December.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, it is disgusting. It is moldy. It tastes like, it just tastes like much.
But, tastes like Sting took a piss in it, for all I know. Yeah. But yeah, it's
but I have to eat it.
Yep, I have to. It's a big dose of karma on our parts for bashing
how much
him.
Shit we talked about in the past couple years. We're going to be eating this crow for the next year or so. So
yeah,
hope you save room for seconds.
Super.
I think but Monster is cooking up some more as we speak.
Yes, but like you said, yeah. The rules of this match dictate that you have to touch all 4 corners in succession to win. This is a bit contrived, and again, like when a strap match is announced, you don't know how it's going to end. You don't know if it's going to be the corners. You don't know if it's going to be pinfall or submission. Like, they tend to, like, change it up based on the story. Like, you remember the Texas Bull Rope match we talked about with Eddie and JBL. That was a 4 corners thing. They did that so they could do a dusty finish to get the title off of Eddie.
When Randy Orton and Dusty Rhodes had a Texas Bull Rope match at Great American Bash, that was pinfall or submission.
Remember when The Rock and Triple H had the fully loaded strap match in '99? That was pinfall or submission, and that was one of my favorite strap matches ever. Drew McIntyre and Karrion Kross just a couple years ago in their strap match, pinfall or submission. So it's
I'm glad you brought that up because Michael Cole went through the history of strap matches, and I also like how they just took the strap match, the Samoan strap match, the Russian chain match, and the Texas Bull Rope match, and they lumped it all into one category.
Yeah, I love that.
It's the same basis, and they talked about, Dusty Rhodes' cowbell matches. They talked about Eddie Guerrero and JBL. They even referenced CM Punk and Umaga from Extreme Rules 2009. They even referenced John Cena and Miro from Extreme Rules,
yep.
2015.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's right.
I think they.
Match.
Yes. Yep. And I'm glad that they're. Really cool. I'm glad that little by little they're mentioning Umaga more again, and we're gonna start talking about him on our retros coming up here.
In the video package, they showed The Fiend and Bryan Danielson in their strap match from the Royal Rumble, which was pinfall or submission.
That was a fucking excellent strap match. Another one of my favorites.
The best match in The Fiend's career.
Yeah.
I like how my 2 favorite Bray Wyatt matches of all time are both with Bryan Danielson, and they're both at the Royal Rumble. The one at Royal Rumble 2014 and the one at Royal Rumble 2020.
What about the strap match that Danielson had last year with Ricky Starks, who is nowhere to be fucking found on AEW programming? He's going to be coming into WWE pretty soon. Bless that kid's heart.
Thank you for reminding me of my AEW match of the year last year.
It was so fucking awesome. Yeah. So anyway, this strap match, I don't know if it's up there with like the best of the best strap matches, but they definitely got very creative. CM Punk, I did mention earlier before I did the Paul Heyman quote, he was cut open the hard way after a Glasgow kiss, and I'm like, this is physical. This is just a small taste of what I think we can expect to see later on in the rivalry, and it's where everybody's predicting this storyline is going. Drew and Punk are just clattering each other all around ringside. Punk is introducing a table at one point, which, again, obligatory WWE pay-per-view pop for the table, because the crowds always are begging for tables. And
Drew McIntyre, he goes...
No, Drew stands up and he goes, "No tables! No tables!"
The good thing Big Show wasn't in WWE because he'd be advising everybody to say that.
Yeah, no tables!
And if Drew McIntyre would have gotten crushed on the top rope, he would have went, he would have made it one frame.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, way to remind me of all the funniest large performance moments in his career.
Tune in 9 years from now when we review Extreme Rules 2015 and we'll talk about that match.
Fucking last man standing.
It was a good last man standing match.
Well, at least this wasn't a last man standing match, right?
Hey, keep talking, it won't be a hell of a summer.
By the way, they had those Vince Russo style siren lights on each corner of the ring to signify, hey, this person has touched this corner in succession. CM Punk is green. Drew McIntyre is red. I wonder who's the hero and who's the villain. Like color code.
Slaps the turnbuckle and it doesn't turn on, and Michael Cole is screaming for the light to turn on. He goes, "Oh, you see, McIntyre touched the turnbuckle and the light should be on right now, but it's not." And a couple seconds later, he says, "The light really should be on right now. McIntyre touched that." I don't know if Michael Cole didn't get any sleep. I don't know if he missed breakfast, or I don't know, maybe he forgot to eat his protein bar before the
He
match.
has serious jet lag.
Jet lag. He must have missed his afternoon nap or something, because he was a grouch at times.
He was savage tonight, is what he was. So just calling things out.
Coffee or something.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I will say also Wade Barrett was outstanding in this match on commentary as well, constantly talking about how CM Punk is beating himself by going for Drew and more punishment with the strap. Like, he's going like, oh, Punk could have won there. He could have done this. He could have done that. He's doing like all this like Welsh like swearing up a storm, and he's like constantly just getting on Punk's case about why aren't you going for the match? You're more worried about beating him up.
CM Punk was very guilty of this at certain points of the match. But again, the physicality was great. The stiffness was great. This felt like a grudge match. There was a point where these two were just punching the shit out of each other, kicking the shit out of each other. Drew McIntyre hits a nasty Claymore in the middle of the match. And I'm glad they got this spot out of the way now, because it's the most cliche spot in a strap match. There was only one instance where they did it right, and it was like the second time they did it, the Batista and JBL one, because we never got to talk about that match because it wasn't on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Basically, the finish of that match was Batista hoisted JBL onto his back while choking him with the rope, and he went around the ring touching the post. But while Batista was touching the post, JBL was touching the post too. And then when he got to the fourth post, JBL was able to escape, and he reached for the fourth turnbuckle, but Batista countered with a spinebuster, and Batista won the match. But ever since then, that has been the story of every single strap match. It's been the finish of every single strap match. And when I saw that spot, I'm like, come on, guys, we can get a little more creative than this. But no, this was like the second act of the match. So I'm glad they got the spot out of the way right away, and it wasn't the finish. Because if it was, I would have been like, we need to stop doing the strap match if this is going to be the finish every time.
Yeah, we need to stop doing the strap match if it's... Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Drew, at one point, lifts CM Punk up, and he's carrying him like a little baby, and he gently lays him down on the arena floor through a table, and Punk somehow crashes through the table because of gravity. And...
Here's the thing.
No, it was a nasty spot.
Drew McIntyre knows if he injures CM Punk again, he's not going to get in trouble with Triple H. He's probably going to get confronted backstage by Punk. And he's like, you know what? I'm not here for this.
He's probably going to go up to him and be like, either you tell me right now you're dumb as fuck and you suck, or you did it on purpose.
Obviously, we're joking. Punk probably enjoys. He thinks it's probably a joy for CM Punk to work with Drew McIntyre.
Oh, yeah.
But this match really was all over the place. They even go out to the announce table at one point. They're brawling on the announce table. They also are teasing the Future Shock DDT, which I like that they're playing up as this devastating move, because remember, the Future Shock was the move that CM Punk got injured by. So it's kind of like CM Punk's kryptonite. I like how in both matches, McIntyre, did he connect with the Future Shock at SummerSlam?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did not connect with it in this match, though. There is a point where Drew... Oh, okay, this is what I wanted to talk about the most here. Drew, eventually getting close to the end of the match, pulls out the friendship bracelet that this has all been built around, and it was in his
balls.
Yes, he was wearing the bracelet as a cock ring, basically, and then he puts it on his wrist, and then he's looking down at Punk, and all I'm thinking
at that point at the match, I was just like, you know what, McIntyre, you can keep the damn bracelet.
Yeah, keep the bracelet. Keep the bracelet. This is important. This is going to be important for later. So Punk then eventually is making his fiery comeback. He hits one go to sleep on Drew. He touches one corner, and the crowd is chanting along, and the crowd is very energetic during this match also. But as Punk is doing the slow walk, like from corner to corner, they're going, oh, hey!
But then Punk hits the third turnbuckle, and I'm not kidding. He is inching his way to the fourth turnbuckle. I'm like, okay, Punk, get on with it. But then he looks at McIntyre, hits another GTS, and then he's hyping up the crowd, and I'm like, oh my God, Punk. You're kind of getting really bad at this babyface thing. Can you just end the match?
Before he went to the third turnbuckle, he hit the second go to sleep, And then what he sees is the bracelet on Drew's wrist. He puts it on. He takes it back. He regained the bracelet like it's a championship belt. Then he hits one more fuck you, go to sleep on Drew. And with the bracelet on his hand, Punk hits the fourth turnbuckle. Punk is now 3-0 in strap matches, or 4-0 if you want to count the dog collar match with MJF. This is a good stipulation. Yeah. It's a good stipulation for Punk. It's been very kind to him.
Who did he face in Ring of Honor? Was it
Kingston? I don't
Homicide?
remember. It might have been Homicide, but I don't remember off the top of my head. But this is the point I wanted to get to.
Manga, and he beat Drew McIntyre.
The Punk with the bracelet around his hand. Again, that's bad enough because it was around Drew's balls. But he hits the turnbuckle with the bracelet on his hand. Larry and AJ have been with him the whole time. Then he's announced the winner. He starts kissing the bracelet, and I'm like, no, you don't know where that's been. You don't know where that's been, dude.
There's
don't kiss it.
Sweat, and maybe a little bit of piss on it, and also CM Punk's wrist tape. There's blood on it. I'm like, you better fucking put this thing in some bleach. You better leave this thing in bleach for 24 hours.
You better hope you don't catch any diseases from that little bit there.
But all jokes aside, this was such a fun match. This truly felt like a grudge match. I really liked their match at SummerSlam, but I thought just the element of Seth Rollins in there kind of threw stuff off. So I liked that this was one-on-one. It was very physical. It was very stiff. It was brawl from start to finish. I liked the drama. I liked the storytelling.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this 4 stars.
Me
This
too.
felt like a true, just grudge match installment of the feud. I like how the SummerSlam match, the build was fantastic. And not saying the SummerSlam match was bad, but I wanted a little more of that. These two hate each other and want to kill each other. Meanwhile, the build for this match was very lackluster. The match itself was excellent, and I actually like this match more than the SummerSlam match.
Yeah, this match was extremely entertaining. It was very brutal, and I think it's only going to be a matter of time until we see these guys wrap up the trilogy of Bad Blood, assuming it's a Hell in a Cell match. How they get there, I'm not sure. Maybe they do Gunther and Punk for the title on an episode of Raw, and then Drew comes in and fucks over Punk as payback for all the times that Punk screwed him out of the title. And an eye for an eye, at least a Hell in a Cell match, I don't know.
I'm also very happy that the bracelet is no longer part of the story. It was good for the time being, but I don't want this to turn into, wow, this bracelet is the centerpiece of this feud. They might as well do a bracelet on a pole match or something.
Might as well do a ladder match with the bracelet hanging above the ring.
Exactly. So you know what? It was symbolic. It was a metaphor. I really liked it, but I'm glad that's not a thing anymore. At this point, Drew McIntyre has nothing to lose. He should be screwing Punk out of title matches, and he should say, you know what? No more titles, no more stupid bracelets. I don't give a fuck about your wife and your dog. Meet me in Hell in a Cell. I want to end your career.
Yeah, that's what the Hell in a Cell should be used for. It's where feuds and careers go to die.
And I think Drew McIntyre or CM Punk, probably Drew McIntyre because he's so fed up, he should say, and after Hell in a Cell, I never want to see your ass again. We are going to end this once and for all. And it really should.
It should.
Not once and for all, but, after this, I'm looking to seeing McIntyre and especially Punk work with some different opponents.
Yeah. Oh, me too. And these guys, again, the fact that they were more concerned about beating the hell out of each other than winning the match. How could we forget CM Punk putting on a sharpshooter on Drew? Drew is tapping out in the hold, and Punk is not letting go because there's no disqualifications and no submissions in the strap match. Drew even grabs the ropes for a rope break, nothing that the referee could do about it. Punk could keep the sharpshooter on until the cows came home. Again, great storytelling here
I like both sides. Too because that was a tribute to Bret Hart, because apparently Bret Hart, as Cody Rhodes explained in the post show, was very over in Germany. The last time WWE went to Germany, not the last time they went to Germany, or I don't know, they went during the 80s or the 90s, and Bret Hart just recalls a story about that was one of the greatest crowds he ever performed in front of.
Yeah, Germany crowd again. Mad thumbs up for them. And again, CM Punk gets his first win in WWE in over a decade, and he also does not get hurt in a dangerous stipulation. Mission accomplished, just like SummerSlam. So, onwards and upwards from here on. But with that, speaking of onwards and upwards, you want to talk about an entertaining story, Tomas. Here we go. In a mixed tag team action, it is Dirty Dom Mysterio and the Women's World Champion Liv Morgan going up against the Terror Twins, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. So, man, oh man, how do we get this soap opera angle to where it is now? Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest were both exiled from the Judgment Day at SummerSlam, as we discussed. Liv Morgan has joined the Judgment Day. It's a brand new group where Finn Balor claims that there are no leaders, no egos. It's just a club, and everybody's in it to help each other. It's strength in numbers.
Finn Balor, JD McDonough, Carlito, Dirty Dom, and Liv Morgan. Aren't they just a bunch of street trash?
That's a random ass faction is what that is.
What am I talking about? Well, apparently there was talks, like, internally, that they were going to change the name of the Judgment Day to Street Trash. Thank God they didn't do that. Come on, Triple H.
That sounds like a Vince McMahon move.
It sounds like it be the Judgment Day.
Yeah.
I will Street Trash, the insult that Gunther used against Damian Priest.
Yeah.
So why would they be calling themselves Street Trash?
It's like insulting themselves.
Yeah.
So, with that said, I will say, it is very weird to see Liv Morgan walking out to Alter Bridge now. It is very, very weird, and it's something that I have to get used to. Yes, but with that, I'm also glad to see that they're not having Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley be a romantic item either, because they're best friends in real life. They can be homies. Men and women can be platonic friends, guys. We can have that just as it is. We don't have to have them hook up off screen. No, we're done with that discussion. No, we're not doing that.
If you ever see two people hanging out, they're friends.
Yeah.
But let's just start assuming everybody is friends until proven otherwise.
So even though Dominik is married in real life, are him and Liv friends? I mean, she buys him tendies all the time, right?
Dirty Dom, what a tragic life he leads.
Yeah, he needs to take a break.
I would not want to be in his position. I wouldn't want to be in that position at all.
Yeah, no, he needs to take a break. You know, someone else should take his place.
Rhea Ripley.
Yeah,
getting accidentally fallen on by Liv Morgan. What a terrible life to lead.
Liv Morgan jumping all over him. You know? So, another thing is, Michael Cole on commentary once again, Dominik Mysterio's gear has skeleton print all over it. And Michael Cole says something along the lines of, well, it's very appropriate that Dominik is coming out dressed as a skeleton, seeing as how he has no ounce of muscle on his body. I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Yikes.
I mean, I know you hate Dom, but Jesus.
This mixed tag team match came about after the Judgment Day had attacked Damian Priest, and then Rhea Ripley came out to the save, and they realized it's us against the world now. Priest and Ripley, again, are really good friends in real life, and they just want to get revenge on people that they called family for the past 2 years.
Yes, yeah, and I think in concept, it's a very, very fun storyline. Some would argue it's the best storyline going on Raw right now, and this match, I think, is a great reflection of that. This was super entertaining, even though it's very predictable who's going over. All I said to Tomas was like, all I want in this match is to be entertained, and damn it, I was.
Uphill battle Damian Priest has, and it's also getting him very over as a babyface. This is a 4-on-2 affair. It's 3 guys versus 1 guy and 1 girl versus 1 girl. And I know, I've been hearing the crowd every time Damian Priest is getting beat down by the Judgment Day, yeet chants start. And I'm like, why would Jey Uso help Damian Priest? I mean,
doesn't make sense.
Respect for each other.
Doesn't make sense.
Right now, this is not Jey Uso's fight. Maybe
no,
in the future. Sure.
They want to see Jey Uso hook up with Rhea Ripley. That's what they want to see. But I'm like, it's a funny little joke here and there that Jey was kind of hitting on Rhea, but I don't even want to see that. You know, let Jey be his own thing. And Jay's going to be busy, like, this fall. Like, don't worry. Like, I'm specifically talking to the people named Rikishi out there. Don't worry. Jey is going to be just fine.
No, Jey is not going to AEW.
No, Jey is main event. Jey Uso is still very over with the crowd. Everybody yeets during his entrance. It's fine. Okay, he's gonna.
If Jey Uso went to AEW right now, his name would be Yeet Fatu.
He's going to be involved in the Bloodline Civil War Survivor Series. The OG Bloodline from 2 years ago is going to reunite. Roman's going to be recruiting all the troops to go up against Solo and his goons. It's going to be okay.
He's probably going to be facing Braun Breaker at Bad Blood for the Intercontinental title.
Yeah! Yeah!
So why don't we all pump the hate brakes, put our patient caps on, and just let the story unfold?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what's going on right now, but just chill out.
Yeah.
But anywho, it was super entertaining. And when I looked at this match, I thought, gee, Priest and Ripley are going to win.
Yeah.
Who's on the side of this? And I know that's kind of bearing the women's world champion, but this is a women's world champion that has to go to extreme lengths to protect her title because it's Rhea Bloody Ripley.
She's a chicken shit heel. That's what she does. That's Liv Morgan's gimmick. Like, you've seen chicken shit heel champions, like, all the time growing up. JBL, chicken shit heel champion. Chris Jericho in 2002, chicken shit heel. The Miz as WWE champion, also a chicken shit heel. We've seen this before.
Randy Orton to an extent. A chicken shit heel.
At least Randy Orton has, like, you know, venom in his veins, and he kicks people in the head and retires them.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like, to an extent.
Yeah. So with that said, yeah, you've seen a character like this before. And I'll give credit again to Dominik Mysterio, who, again, is looking more and more like his father, Eddie Guerrero, the more he ages. He's the only guy in history to execute a heel turn while he is already a heel, to my knowledge. And a very, very despicable heel. And a very, like, unlikable douchebag. So, credit to him, man. Like, he is just living his best life right now. So, no pun intended, living his best life. So,
I'm going to say something crazy right now.
Yeah.
MJF wishes he had the heat that Dom has.
Oh, okay. Listen, I don't know if I'd go that far because Dom is still not a world champion. Like, but hey, MJF is still one of the best bloody heels in the business. Like,
hey. I love me some MJF. And I'm gonna have great things to say about him on the All In review. But I'm just saying, I think look it's at the booze that Dom is generating right now.
Well, it's because WWE is selling out and AEW has nobody on the hard cam side.
I'm just saying.
You can't expect MJF to get that level of heat if not many people are in the building.
Fair enough. But
like, that's what I'm saying.
Back to the match. This was a pretty fun match, all things considered, especially near the end. Especially when complete bedlam just broke out in this match. And I loved the way they were playing this. Like, for the most part, Dom and Morgan had to play defensively in this match because Priest is huge. Dominik is a good wrestler, but his shtick is being a chicken shit heel. He, cheats to win. He finds the easy way out. And same with Morgan. They're really playing on the defensive side of this match. And even though, like, on paper, Priest and Ripley should steamroll through these guys in like 5 minutes. But near the end of the match, Priest is setting up for the South Side of Heaven. And you hear the boos, and I'm like, oh, wait, yeah, Balor and Carlito and McDonough have to get involved, obviously.
Yeah, so the Funko Pop runs down to the ring, and Damian Priest knocks him off the apron. Somehow the Funko Pop escaped from his box. Like, I don't know how he got off of my shelf and into the arena that quickly.
It's going to be a real disrespectful day when JD McDonough gets his own Funko Pop.
It really is.
A real disrespectful day.
It really is. Carlito also hops onto the apron, and he actually takes an electric chair drop from Rhea Ripley, which I thought was a very nice spot indeed. Not mid. Rhea and then Damian Priest. No, we're not getting into this discussion right now. Rhea and Damian have double Razor's Edges on the horizon. They hit the double Razor's Edge, and I think that's... No. Did the Razor's Edges happen before the Judgment Day ran down? I feel like they did.
No, I want to say it was... Maybe that was the setup going into the run-in.
No. It had to be. It had to be because Damian then tries the South Side of Heaven chokeslam on Dom, and then you have Finn running in. And here's my big issue with the Judgment Day presentation right now as a whole. Finn Balor is going on and on and on in his promos about there are no leaders. It's just the group. It's just the club. And I'm sitting there like, Finn, you are at the center doing these promos. There is no way you're not the leader. You are the star of the group.
You want to know my issue with this new Judgment Day thing is? I love Finn Balor's promo the night after SummerSlam or 2 nights after SummerSlam.
It was fantastic.
It was fantastic. But Balor's whole thing was, no, Priest, you're not going to get your hands on me because I'm not going to let you get your hands on me because I'm going to be waiting in the shadows until you think you're safe, until you think you're comfortable, and then I'm going to strike. But I can count several times since then that Balor has ran in and tried to attack Priest. And Priest has already gotten his hands on Balor, not to the extent that we want him to, but he's still done it.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's not as bad as what's going on in the bloodline right now, but it's like Balor and Priest shouldn't be interacting this much until they have their first one-on-one match, if that makes sense.
Yes, and let me address that right now. I'm seeing on Twitter or X, whatever the fuck you want to call it these days, I'm seeing people saying, hey, Priest versus Balor at Bad Blood should be there. I'm like, no, you can drag it out more. I want to see...
Maybe Priest versus regular Balor, but you did bring up the idea of Priest versus the Demon at WrestleMania.
Yes,
because you could do Priest and regular Balor, original flavor Balor at Bad Blood, and then could do some shit at Survivor Series. You could they're going to be at the Royal Rumble, maybe even a rematch on Raw where Balor gets the first couple of wins, and then you can save the Demon for WrestleMania.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, again, I feel like you can stretch it out a little more. Like, I don't think you need to blow off the first one-on-one match between these two guys at Bad Blood. Bad Blood is going to be fine. So I don't think you need that match on that card, because especially since so Finn saves Dom from disaster. He hits a sling blade, and then Dom, this was actually a great false finish. Dom goes up top and he hits a frog splash on Damian Priest, again paying tribute to his dad Eddie up in heaven. He goes and he pins Priest, and I thought that was it. I thought that was going to be the cheap win. I'm like, they're going to have Dominik pin a former world champion right now. This is awesome. But no, Priest kicked out, and the match continues. Rhea finally gets her hands on Dom, and long-term storytelling. Remember when Dominik was a babyface and Rhea had that head scissors lock on him to, really turn him to the dark side? Rhea did the same thing to him, but it was out of revenge because Dominik cucked her for so long. So it was, long-term storytelling.
Some guys have all the luck.
Yeah.
Years later.
So, and then what happens is Damian Priest starts tearing apart this announce table. He's fighting with both Balor and Dom on the outside. Dom takes a sick bump on this announce table off a really vicious clothesline from Priest. Liv Morgan is just like, she's peeking out in terror, watching her daddy Dom just be laid out. Priest
also, before that spot, Morgan hits like this weird code breaker Oblivion variant onto Rhea Ripley. And this is my issue with Liv Morgan's finisher. I think it's a cool finisher, but I don't like finishers that require the ropes, because let's take Alberto Del Dipshit, for example, in the words of Solid Monster. His move that I called Border Patrol, and it was a diving double foot stomp, but your opponent had to be in the Tree of Woe. You know how much setup that takes? And that's not a move you can hit out of nowhere, like a super kick or an RKO, or even something simple like a power bomb. Liv Morgan, her finisher requires the opponent to be leaning on the ropes. And when
pretty contrived.
Purposely setting herself on the ropes, I'm just thinking, okay, if you want to avoid Morgan's finisher, don't set yourself up on the ropes. How about that?
Bingo.
Yeah.
So... So Liv is just she's horrified now. Rhea Ripley is standing right behind her in a clip that I'm sure is going to be on social media within the next week or so, and everybody's going to be simping over Rhea Ripley. So, and again, who wouldn't? Yeah, Ripley. No. Lindsay and I both simp over Rhea Ripley from time to time, so it's okay. Rhea then picks up Liv for the Riptide, pins her in the way that Rhea Ripley only could. And, she gets a clean win over the... Yeah.
On the pre-show, Rhea Ripley said, okay, Big E called it the... oh, my God, what did Big E call it? He called it, the hold-up pin. But Rhea Ripley said pretzel pin.
So the what?
The pretzel pin.
I mean, it's not very pretzel-like, if you know what I mean. But
Rhea Ripley does have a name for it. And let's just say if she was in AEW and she was pairing up with a couple other certain people, she'd be calling it the scissor pin.
Yeah. So Liv Morgan, the champion, is pinned by her top contender, which should mean that these two are going to wrestle again at the next pay-per-view. And by God, I think Ripley's winning this title back. I don't see how this...
It's going to be a feel-good moment of the year.
Yeah, I don't think this story doesn't end, without Ripley winning the title at the next show. That's what I think. So... Ripley pins Liv, and then, her and her buddy are celebrating in the ring, and the Judgment Day is just despondent going up the ramp. They're defeated for right now. They've lost the battle, but I don't think the war is over yet. I'm giving this 3.5 stars. Very entertaining match.
I am going to give it 3 3/4 stars because
Damn.
It was so fun to watch, so entertaining. I love the false finishes. I was right with you. I thought Dom was going to pin Priest. And even though I was so certain that Priest and Ripley were going to win, I wanted them to win. And I was, they had me hook, line, and sinker. Like, I was going to be legitimately upset if Priest and Ripley didn't pick up the win here. So it's a super fun storyline. Ripley and Priest are getting so over as baby faces. It's organic.
They are.
And I love that so much. And also, you talk about Ripley winning the women's world title from Liv Morgan, which I am all for. But even when Morgan loses this title, let's not unrecognize the amazing character development Morgan has had this year. It has been so good, and she is finally at a spot now where she could lose this match and she'll be okay.
Yeah, so I think this will be a theme once we review All In. It's not about the quantity of how many months you hold this championship, but it's about the quality of what you do within the time that you have with it.
Yes.
So, because Roman Reigns' run 1,316 days, which is a Stone Cold Steve Austin number, by the way. That's legendary because of its length and how many defenses he has. But, you talk about someone like a Samoa Joe in AEW. You talk about Swerve Strickland, spoiler alert, in AEW. Only about 4 months long, but what they did with the belt in that short time, nothing short of legendary. So I think Liv Morgan
with the Intercontinental title. He only held it for 4 months, but he had an excellent Intercontinental title run, and it really helped with, again, the character development. I think that's Triple H's favorite thing in WWE, and that's not a bad thing. Character development. I like to see these characters grow. I like to see them have layers. I want a reason to cheer these people, and I want a reason to boo these people.
Right.
Dominik Mysterio is my favorite person to boo in wrestling right now. Logan Paul is one of my favorite people to boo in wrestling right now. I enjoy cheering for Damian Priest. I enjoy cheering for Cody Rhodes. I am interested in the conflict, in the inner conflict that Kevin Owens has right now. You want to be emotionally attached to these wrestlers that you are taking 3, 4, 5, 6 hours out of your week to watch on a weekly basis.
Yep. Amen to all of that. So this match was a great example of that. Good characters with motivations that you can definitely relate to and get behind. Heroes that you absolutely can, latch onto in a sense. Villains that you love to hate. It's everything that you love in entertainment. But with that,
absolutely.
The main event of Bash in Berlin, Tomas, what do we got? What do we got here?
We have the somewhat hometown hero, Gunther, in his first ever title defense of the World Heavyweight Championship, defending against SmackDown's Randy Orton. How did we get here? Everybody was speculating this, and it finally came into fruition. You remember that wonky finish to King of the Ring? Gunther won the King of the Ring tournament, but you could have drove a semi-truck in that space that was between Randy Orton's shoulder and the ring mat.
Yeah.
It shrouded in controversy. Did Gunther really beat Randy Orton? They weren't going to reverse the decision, and everybody was wondering, is Orton going to get another attempt at Gunther? Well, Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis came to an agreement that Randy Orton was going to be lent to Monday Night Raw from Friday Night SmackDown, and he would be getting the first crack at Gunther's World Heavyweight Championship. And this was such an interesting build because it was kind of just like this is your life, Randy Orton. Randy Orton had a lot of promo time during this feud, even when Gunther wasn't on television, to really talk about the World Heavyweight Championship was the first world title he ever won in WWE in 2004.
Yeah.
How when the World Heavyweight Championship was reintroduced into WWE, he was at home recovering from spinal fusion surgery, and he would watch the TV. He would look at guys like Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Drew McIntyre competing for this World Heavyweight Championship. And Orton just thought, I'm never going to be able to hold that title that I first won. And he retired. He brought that point out that in 2013, him and John Cena unified the WWE and World Heavyweight Championships, and Orton was the last person to ever hold the big gold. So such a cool trip down memory lane with these promos. Randy Orton was cutting, and Randy Orton was interviewed before Bash in Berlin, and I think it was Corey Graves brought up the point that you are on the cusps of tying John Cena and Ric Flair for most world title wins, and Randy Orton is using that as a motivation to win the World Heavyweight Championship. And on the other side of the coin, you got Gunther over here getting really personal, what seems to be his shtick lately, saying, you know what, Orton? Your grandfather was a failure. Your father was a failure. And at Bash in Berlin, in my homeland, you're going to be a failure too.
Gunther
has no fucking show.
Gunther's a fucking man, is what he is. And Randy, and like, I love everything that you're saying here, and you're absolutely right about all of it. And the feud itself, the history that's being brought up is awesome. But I love that Randy Orton is being billed in this as one of the greatest psychological minds in the business. Gunther is using this feud to kind of meet Orton halfway at his level of psychology. Because there's a little bit that lives rent-free in my head now, where these guys are getting up in each other's face, they shake hands at the end of their promo, and Gunther's like, good luck, Randy, but let me just tell you, nothing catches me out of nowhere. And Randy looks at him and he's like, good, because I want you to see it coming. Ah, I love it.
At one point in the build, I think in the beginning, Gunther straight up said, you will not hit me with an RKO out of nowhere. And then a few minutes later, Orton hits him with an RKO out of nowhere.
It reminds me back when he was building up his match with Brock, right? And then Paul Heyman's just standing there like, you will never hit an RKO on the Beast! And then Randy just runs in from out of nowhere, hits the RKO, and he's like doing the, like, what? What? I wasn't going to hit him with the RKO?
Also, I love that Randy Orton is one of the most beloved baby faces in WWE right now. But we should not be celebrating this man because he is a pyromaniac. He is a pyromaniac.
Yes.
He is a sadomasochist. He enjoyed shoving the screwdriver in Jeff Hardy's ear and twisting it up.
Oh.
He went through a whole summer and a whole winter where he had this weird obsession of torturing Jeff Hardy and Rey Mysterio. He also likes to kick old men in the head, and he likes to kiss unconscious women.
He also likes to set people's houses on fire. He also likes to kill the Undertaker with a lowrider. He likes to tell people that their best friends are in hell after they die. You know, why are we celebrating this man?
He is such an interesting person.
Yeah. And
you know what's crazy? Out of all the fucked up shit that he's done, I think the most disturbed thing he ever did was just when he had that very, very strange obsession with torturing Jeff Hardy. I don't know what that was all about.
Well, you see, because I'm Randy Orton, and I'm going to take down all of your heroes, you dumb little kids. That's what it was about.
Was so uncomfortable for me.
Well, because he freaking, like, sodomized Jeff's ear with a screwdriver, right?
It was so weird.
Disgusting.
That's a forgotten match right there. Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy in a Hell in a Cell match in 2018.
God, I'll never forget that match just because of some of those visuals that we got. Don't escape my mind.
You want to talk about pageantry? You want to talk about big fight feel? You want to talk about a match that feels like the main event of a pay-per-view? This one right here.
Yes.
These men got 34 minutes.
Yes,
and this
they did.
was one of the best. Not only psychological matches, not only technical, not only great storytelling. This is a damn near perfect match. Because you have Gunther, who is the ring general for a reason. You have Randy Orton, who is one of the smartest minds in professional wrestling. And also before the match when they're doing the ring announcements, great camera work. Great fucking camera work because Samantha Irving introduces Randy Orton, and then out of fucking nowhere, you just see a hand. And you're like, what? And it's Ludwig Kaiser. Where did he come from? Where the fuck did he come from?
He came from Germany. That's why he's here, right? And he does his shtick, and he's like, ladies and gentlemen, doing the freaking amazing fucking ring introduction for Gunther. Love it. Ludwig Kaiser is a freaking treasure, man. Randy Orton also, it should be noted, takes longer than Roman Reigns usually does to walk down to the ring. And he is announced at 290 pounds. This man, I never thought I would say that he's entering a hoss fight in my life, but that's what this was. It's a hoss fight.
He is an absolute unit. You look at his physique, and he is just fucking hulked out. Like,
he turned... in his time off, he turned into the fridge in the House of Horrors from 2017. Like, this guy is huge.
But at the same time, when you're off for damn near 2 years, what else is there to do?
Eat Nutella.
Was pumping iron.
And eating Nutella, right?
Yeah, remember when John Moxley was injured for like 9 months?
Yeah.
He came back and he looked like he ate a cow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he was lean as all hell.
Yeah.
But these guys get in there. The crowd is just absolutely jacked for this. And how ironic is it that the crowd starts doing a wave very early on in the match? My, what a difference a decade makes. Because you remember when Randy Orton and Sheamus were having a match on Raw, and the crowd was trolling the match with every possible anti-Orton and Sheamus chant possible. They start a wave. They start a wave out of pure boredom.
Yeah,
and
chanting Macho Man Randy Savage. They chanted for Jerry Lawler. They chanted for JBL. They chanted for Michael Cole. And
they chanted for
that is his most insufferable.
RVD, Undertaker, Y2J, DDP, ECW.
Let's go Cena. Cena sucks. Cena wasn't even in the match.
The Fandangoing, but maybe the Fandangoing came later that show. But how ironic is it that a decade later, the crowd starts a wave and Randy joins them. Randy joins them on the wave, and he's asking Gunther to get involved too. And I'm like,
Randy Orton is at the state of his career where he's really just there to have a good time.
Yeah.
There is nothing left for this man to accomplish. He's done it all. 15-time world champion, Money in the Bank winner, 2-time Royal Rumble winner, has main evented countless WrestleManias, held every single title in the business. Like literally, he's been a tag team champion, Intercontinental champion, United States champion, WWE champion, world heavyweight champion. There is nothing left for this man to accomplish.
Yeah.
But just enjoy. Have fun.
And think about this, too. John Cena went off to Hollywood. Batista went off to Hollywood. Brock Lesnar went off to Saskatchewan, bumfuck middle of nowhere, wherever he is right now. Randy Orton stuck around. Yeah. Like, the fact that he loves the business, and this is just me coming off of watching his episode of the Cody Rhodes interview show on YouTube, which I think is great, by the way, and how emotional he got with Cody in that, and how much I know we joked about how we shouldn't be celebrating this man because of how much weird shit he's done in his career. Orton sat there and he was like, I never pitched anything. I never pitched any ideas. He was always open to anything or trying anything to get his character over. So
and this is a great segue because we're about to get into our retrospective where Randy Orton is at his worst. He's about to go in the doghouse for like 6 months.
Yeah,
and
he already is.
Crazy that we're about to talk about the lowest point of his career, and here we are at the high point of his career. If you ever get a chance to watch his documentary that they came out, I think in 2012.
Evolution of a Predator.
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
They interviewed John Cena, they interviewed The Miz, they interviewed CM Punk, and they all had the same thing to say about him. But Cena's words really stretched the most. Cena said, if you would have asked me about Randy Orton 5 years ago, I would have told you he's a prick. But you asked me about Randy Orton now, and I think he's a great guy. This dude really went. He is the definition of maturity. And I think he is a great inspirational story that it's never too late to grow up, guys.
Yeah.
If you're in a bad spot in life, it's never too late to turn your life around.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? And it's never too late to have what I think could be one of the best matches of his career here with Gunther. I really liked their match at King of the Ring. This match exceeded all expectations. This was way better than the match they had back in May, I think.
It was. 1,000% it was.
Just the psychology. This felt like a classic old school 1980s World Heavyweight Championship match here. The selling that was on display from both guys, untouchable. Absolutely untouchable.
And the offense was so simple.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. You're not going to be seeing any shooting star presses. You're not going to be seeing any 450s, 630s, corkscrew moonsaults, spiral taps. This was from start to finish pure professional wrestling.
Gunther chopping. Yes. Yeah, chopping the hell out of Randy Orton, and Randy taking that first chop and yelling out, fuck! Doing stuff like
chops
that.
Chops to the chest, chops to the back, European uppercuts, body slams, sleeper holds, arm drags, rest holds. It was pure professional wrestling from start to finish. It was truly, like you said it the best, an old school frame of mind match. Probably with a couple of modern wrestling stuff sprinkled in there. But one of the themes in this match was Randy Orton was really working on the arm of Gunther to the point where he couldn't execute his powerbomb. But the thing was, Gunther didn't give a fuck. He still tried that powerbomb until he finally executed one.
Yeah.
To a great near fall there.
Hits that Terry Gordy style power bomb, and then it goes for the pin and Orton kicks out. Yeah, really good near falls throughout the match. Gunther, like, can we talk about him for a second? Because I think this man just may be one of the greatest pure wrestlers on the planet right now. Like, at his size and his, like, overall frame, he should not be able to do the things that he's doing. And he's pulling off stuff like, it's a perfect, like, again, like JBL said, if I could build a professional wrestler from the ground up, it would be Randy Orton. If I could build a pro wrestler from the ground up, it would probably look like Gunther.
Yeah.
So that's what I think.
I know we all joke about Cody Rhodes being the Homelander of WWE, but Gunther, from a scientific standpoint, might be the Homelander of WWE because it's like they genetically modified this guy in a laboratory.
Yeah.
But Gunther is not lying when he says the mat is sacred, and he just respects this business and he knows how this business works. You put him in the ring with anybody, and he has a good match with them. I can't name one bad Gunther match.
No. I mean, like, I could say that his performance in the Survivor Series match when he was brought in as Falter was lackluster because he was barely in it. He was barely in it.
Shitty booking. There's a difference between shitty booking, and that's like if you put Gunther in the ring with, I don't know, I can't name a bad opponent for him. I don't know. Let's just say Roman Reigns, 2019 Roman Reigns. And they just went out there and they stunk up the joint for 20 minutes. I'm talking like that.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of something close to it was I don't like that he jobs to Braun Breaker in NXT. But even that wasn't Gunther's fault.
Yeah, even that was still a pretty solid match, all things considered. Braun Breaker was green as grass at the time, but Gunther cannot have a bad match with anybody. I'm convinced. I'm thoroughly convinced now. Randy eventually does hit that RKO, and the crowd is popping massively. Gunther kicks out of it, because of course, we got to kick out of finishers if we're going to have a dramatic title match.
This part of the match is probably what bothered me the most. And Michael Cole was calling this out on commentary. There was a lot of outside brawling. Michael Cole had to bring up the fact that Charles Robinson is giving a lot of leeway to these guys. And Michael Cole did a great job of it because he said, Charles Robinson has officiated many, many world title matches in his career. He understands the environment he's in. He understands that we're in Germany. And he doesn't want this match to end in a count out. So I liked how even the referees are getting a little more like, they're getting character. The names are getting brought up. They're giving like little personalities. I think that's great. But Randy Orton is brawling on the outside with Gunther for a very, very, very long time. Like, he's taking his sweet time, fighting him, setting up the steel steps, fighting him some more, clearing the announce table. And I feel bad for Charles Robinson because he's in the ring just going 3 after 5 minutes. Like, Robinson is like, well, I have to count, but Randy Orton's taking his sweet ass time.
Yeah.
And then it culminates to a back suplex off the steel steps through the announce table. And this is what Randy Orton does. And this is where Wade Barrett's commentary is very justified. Michael Cole, too. Michael Cole chimes in and he goes, okay, Orton, you did it. Now get Gunther in the ring so you can win the title. Get Gunther in the ring so you can win the title. And Orton looks at the crowd. He looks out. He hits his pose. And I'm just like, are you purposely giving Gunther time to recover from that for the finish? That's what it just felt like. But Orton was just soaking it all in.
We got to get that.
So
No, you don't understand. We got to get that good camera shot from the crowd of him doing his pose from afar. Like you're actually there.
I praise this match for being 34 minutes, but I think 4 of those minutes was just this outside spot. A spot that could have been done in 60 seconds.
Probably. Well, he was also taking his time because I believe he flew his wife out to Germany because he wanted her to enjoy the European wrestling atmosphere. Which, again, like, he's in the main event and what have you, and that's a perfect time to fly your wife out, if you ask me.
Why would you look at that? Randy Orton flew his wife out for his world title match, and Bryan Danielson flew his whole family out to London to watch his world title match.
There you go. Yeah, so you would think Randy wins the belt, right?
So Orton throws into the ring. He sets up for another RKO. Gunther is able to counter the RKO, and he slaps on a sleeper hold, and he has his sleeper hold on for a hot minute. Orton's able to fight out of it. He backs up into the corner, but Gunther just cinches that sleeper hold on a little more. Gunther's able to fight out, but even though Orton is free of the sleeper, Gunther just slaps it on right again, falls to the ground, wraps the leg around, and Cole has the best reference to this. He says, Gunther is around Randy Orton like a boa constrictor, and the first thing that popped in my mind was, "Hey Viper, meet the constrictor."
There
And
you go.
when I finally realized that, like, Orton's going, and Orton fades. Referee slaps the arm a little, calls for the bell. Gunther retains the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm going to give this match 4 3/4 stars. This was a fantastic match. And the question that I always have to justify is, what needed to happen in this match to get that little extra boost to get to that 5 stars? I think it was the stalling for me.
Yeah.
If Orton didn't just sit outside the ring for 5 minutes during the outside spot, this would have been a perfect match for me. And I know that's an extreme nitpick, but this was great from start to finish. Absolutely fantastic. Old school wrestling. If you're an old school wrestling fan and you kind of don't like this new era of pro wrestling, to each their own, you will love this match. It is the definition of old school.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I think this is a contender for WWE Match of the Year for sure. It's one of the best matches Randy Orton's ever put on, that's for sure. Gunther, again, one of the best wrestlers on the planet, incapable of having a bad match. You could put him in there, again, with a broomstick. We've used this analogy all the time. Gunther could be wrestling a gigantic Randy Orton-sized broomstick, and he would be able to put on a 5-star clinic.
Thanks, Zach. Now I'm just thinking about a 2024 Gunther versus a 2007 Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. But let's not forget also that there was a point where the 290-pound Randy Orton was powering out of the sleeper, and he almost hits another RKO on Gunther just based off sheer power. And then Gunther pushes off, bam! Chops Orton right in the back, in the bad back, and, like, yeah, puts the sleeper hold right back on. I was like, that was the death blow right there. This was super ultra competitive. Gunther gets up. This match and this whole aftermath was all about putting Gunther over. Like, you know, this is what it was. So Gunther,
I love his moveset so much. You look at his moveset over the years. He beat Tommaso Ciampa with a chop. He's beaten people with power bombs. He's beaten people with lariats. I think he beat Pete Dunne with a lariat.
Yeah.
He beat The Miz with the Boston Crab. He beat Randy Orton with a sleeper hold.
Walls of Jericho.
Boston Crab. He beat Damian Priest with a sleeper hold. It's like, this guy uses the most simple moves, but he makes these moves look so devastating. Could you ever imagine somebody beating Ciampa with a chop?
Beats Matt Riddle with an ankle lock, I think.
Yes.
Like, and he beats most of his other opponents. I think he beats Sheamus with a power bomb or something like that. Like, yeah, this guy's just unfucking real. This guy is, you know, I can't wait to see what is next for him in this reign. But this surprised me. Go ahead.
Wrong, because I just thought of this. Was it just me, or after this match, he shakes Randy Orton's hand, he comes to the crowd? You could just say it was just a hometown thing, but are we seeing a tiny bit of a glimmer of what Gunther could be like as a babyface?
Well, we've already seen that. Remember his feud with the Undisputed Era, like right before the pandemic? He's been
for sure. Like,
he's been a babyface before.
But no, like, just in this setting with, you know, NXT Gunther and Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown Gunther, he's had a lot of character development here, and he's just been known as the Kaiju boss, like the unbeatable boss. You know, he's the super boss. He's the hidden boss after you've beaten the game, and you have to go through like this secret dungeon, and then you just see the super boss at the end. It's damn near impossible to beat. Like, he's always had, you know, just that aura to him, and he just works so great as a heel. Could we be seeing just a glimmer of, I'm not saying right now, but just what Gunther could be as a babyface?
Yeah, I think he gets super personal with his opponents, and then he shakes their hands after the match. I don't know if that's the Gunther formula that they're going with right now for this world title run. Like, he's got a bevy of opponents that he can work against. Like, if he does work more of a tweener role, like if he can wrestle CM Punk and be the heel, he can wrestle Drew and then be the babyface. He can wrestle Seth and be a heel. He can wrestle Bronson Reed eventually and be the babyface. Because,
Pete Dunne, Ilya Dragunov, Jey Uso. There's so many opponents for
Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
There is another. You want to hear a crazy stat? This was after the show. Jackie Redmond said, ever since Gunther has come to the WWE, 75% of his career, he has been a champion. He held the NXT UK title for 700 days. He held the Intercontinental title for 666 days. Who
Nice.
knows when he's going to drop the World Heavyweight title?
That man looks naked without a championship around his waist. I'll tell you that
Yeah.
much. But fantastic main event. It's a match of the year contender. And I don't know if I would say this is a show of the year contender, but I think it's certainly in the upper half of shows in terms of quality. I'm going with an 8 out of 10 for Bash in Berlin. I think this crowd in Germany absolutely brought it. Like, not one bad match on the show. It was very enjoyable from start to finish. And I can't wait to see what's next for WWE with Bad Blood.
I was very concerned that this show was going to be good, but not fantastic. But once the Punk and McIntyre match came through, the rest of the show was just like, okay, this is great. So I'm going to match her 8 out of 10. I will say I like this show more than SummerSlam.
Really? Oh, man.
I like this show more than SummerSlam.
Well, that one's a toss-up for me. I think I rated SummerSlam higher, but again, who knows? I think I may have even rated Backlash higher than this one, but again,
thought the opener was solid. The tag team match was good. I'll give it a thumbs up. Strap match was fantastic. Really fun mixed tag in an absolutely amazing main event.
Yeah.
Again, blew their King of the Ring match out of the water, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do next. Now, coming up next, we do not have a pay-per-view in September. So the next time WWE's on pay-per-view is Bad Blood. So we'll be back for that. That's right. Until then, we have to review AEW All In, and AEW All Out is next weekend. God damn it, Tony Khan.
God damn it, Tony.
Stopping the money from my wallet.
God damn it, Tony. Yeah, no, I can't watch All Out live, unfortunately, so that review will have to come a little bit later. All In review is coming.
International title.
Yep. We got Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland in a steel cage. Brian Danielson defending the AEW title against Jungle Boy. Spoiler alert.
Jack Perry.
He will always be
TNT
Jungle Boy
champion. He's the scapegoat.
Yeah, who gives a fuck about him? But yeah, hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. Yeah, go cry me a river. Hit that subscribe button if you want to hear more wrestling nonsense from Tomas and I. Yeah, Bad Blood is on the horizon. We also got Backlash 2006 to talk about, which is a very interesting show that I can't wait to talk about with you. There's some good stuff on it, and there's some freaking crazy shit on it. But
like we talked about, we have AEW All In and All Out. And since we have some extra time with no pay-per-view in September, NXT No Mercy is tomorrow. It will not come out right away, but I think with the extra time that we have, we can bust out a review for that. I know we said we were going to be more on top of NXT, and we're so sorry that we missed
whatever the
Battleground was it?
Whatever the fuck that show was. No, we reviewed it was Heatwave.
Yeah, we are so sorry we missed Heatwave, but we're gonna make up for it with No Mercy. Tomorrow, Ethan Page versus Joe Hendry for the NXT title. Should be a fun show, but like we always have pro wrestling to talk about on here. We may be getting a small break from WWE pay-per-views, but we have AEW, we have our retro, we have NXT. There's always gonna be wrestling to talk about, and I'm happy. The day that wrestling runs out is the day I will be a sad boy.
The day wrestling runs out is the day water runs out. So, stay tuned for more, guys, and commence that back talk. Let us know what you thought of Bash in Berlin. And, take care, guys.